with the ongoing Maga meltdown and Donald Trump truly having the problem with his base that some said he would never have over anything. Well, here it is. And Trump is flailing and failing, really, to quiet the Epstein story. MAGA, pundits, influencers, Fox veterans, people with large followings are revolting. They are not going along with Trump's demands that something he and his allies pumped and fed forever should suddenly go away because it's inconvenient for them.
All right, folks, here we are. The Epstein Files will never be released. Now, when Donald Trump ran on it, that was on his ticket, I said to some people I spoke with that the Epstein Files will never be released. And the question that was posed to me was, do you think so? Do you really think so? And I said, yes, the files will never be released. There are too many powerful people that visited him wherever he was in the world, whether it was in New York, whether it was in Florida, New Mexico, whether it was in the Virgin Islands or France. High-powered executives, government officials, and royalties visited him wherever he was. And as it said, and as we all know, that Epstein is a pedo. And when someone is that powerful and have content on so many powerful people, allegedly have content on so many powerful people, it will never be released. See how Elon Musk went off on Trump saying that he is on the Epstein Files, and this is the reason why Trump won't release the Epstein Files. We will never know. There are so many different people saying different things, different opinions, conjectures. Hey, but do you really think that the Epstein Files will ever be released? Personally, I don't believe so, right? So with that being said, let me play the video.
Now both Trump and Mike Johnson are throwing this hot potato, though, and trying to get it back on the desk of the Attorney General.
It's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release.
I'm for transparency. We should put everything out there and let the people decide. She needs to come forward and explain that to everybody.
You can see the talking point forming as if this is all only up to an Attorney General. And she did stoke interest in this, but Donald Trump himself long claimed that he would release this. And given the other controversial ways he's reached into the DOJ to get things done, obviously he could order more evidence out right now. He's not doing that. He's blaming his own employee. She now has been forced to speak out.
The memo speaks for itself, and we'll get back to you on anything else.
That may not do it for the MAGA fury.
We're all on stage demanding the release of the Epstein client list.
Either Pam Bondi is royally screwed up. I mean, she has. That's not in dispute. She's royally screwed up. And the president is just forgiving her.
Pam Bondi needs to go at a minimum.
It is Trump and it is his advisors that have gone with this narrative of him just saying, forget about it, move along.
She's lying either way.
This is the number one motivating issue for the base.
There is something there, and it's being covered up, and the president blessed it.
If that base feels like you're betraying them or not telling them the truth, then they're not going to like it.
That basically they are throwing Pam Bondi underneath the bus. It appears that way, right? They're throwing it back to her and for her to make the decision, right? However, it's always a back and forth going on to keep the people in a loop, not really understanding what's happening while they're getting more and more.
You're not falling to Jedi mind tricks and gaslighting.
That's just a sampling of a heck of a lot of people who've suddenly decided that while they've long supported Donald Trump and defended almost everything he's said and done in public, suddenly now they're concerned that Donald Trump is lying. They don't like that the government doesn't seem accountable, and they certainly don't appreciate and aren't responding to Trump telling them to just be quiet. Now, that is part of where this anger is going. We're also seeing how bothered Trump is because we've talked before about his approach to PR and reaching out online and digitally because the world of politics has continued to change as the world's communication structure changes. Well, there's reports that he personally reached out to Charlie Kirk, trying to quiet the criticism. Now, this podcaster says he's done talking about Epstein because of the call.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being.
As conservative influencers were eating their own about Epstein.
Even though there are unanswered questions about Epstein, it is in fact time to move on.
I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands.
Just trust the government, even when they tell you the conspiracy theory that they were long going to crack and solve is now something they're just going to defend and tell you to look the other way on. So you can see just some of how this is playing out in real time. As for the quieting of the story, Fox News is changing gears. You can see the comparison here, playing up outdated old sort of Biden references rather than the current Epstein controversy or the new Trump DOJ memo. In the larger culture, the story has stuck.
You can't take this away from your base. That is MAGA's favorite conspiracy. What are we going to find out next? That immigrants aren't eating cats?
Trump brings up Hunter Biden's laptop as a reminder for all of us not to dwell on old conspiracy theories.
Also, are we really to believe anyone in the world could have the Epstein file on their desk and not immediately take a peek? I mean, who has that kind of restraint? Here's the list of everyone who went to Epstein Island. Well, sadly, it's 5 p.m., so...
The jokes land because everyone's heard about this. The hypocrisy sticks because even your favorite MAGA friend or uncle or old colleague who's pure MAGA has heard what I just mentioned. There is the view of the broken vow, do exactly the opposite of what he's now doing. There's the concern that he's lying, which we've seen on many issues, but on this one, MAGA seems to care. And there's the larger question of what happens if you pop the bubble and realize there is an external reality and that there are broken vows and that the government, even if you are very conservative and like some other parts of this administration's agenda, the government is to be held to account in this country, for we are a democracy with accountability, a nation of laws and a free press. Shout out to all the podcasters speaking their mind under the protection and power of the First Amendment, something this administration has also challenged when it finds disagreement.
Basically, everyone wants to brush this Epstein issue under the rug. But the base, the MAGA base, they want it to be released. But the higher-ups are saying no. And then influencers, whom are friends with the people in government and possibly some of the higher-ups, are saying, there's no there, time to move on. Let's, it's done, it's over. Let's just leave it alone now. Okay? Let's just leave it alone and move on. That's what's being said.
So is there a larger breakthrough here?
So I think it's interesting that clip you just played about Lara Trump, because Lara Trump, there's a lot of talk that she wants to run for the Senate in North Carolina. Remember, Donald Trump isn't running for re-election again. But Lara Trump is. So you see the way she's dealing with this story, saying more will be revealed. You know, there'll definitely be more. And what we see is this is her way of trying to spin this. I mean, look, I would say it's this. Trump said, you know, if you elect me, I will bring down the deep state. Right. There was a lot of the MAGA universe kept saying, you know, we will show all of the mysteries that the deep state is hiding from you. Remember, it's going to put out the JFK, JFK assassination stuff. There was a lot of buildup to sort of, and now they are the deep state, right? They are in control of all of the levers.
They caught the car, they criticized the man, quote unquote, and they are the man.
Right. And now they're saying there's nothing to see here. It's very hard for me to see how the base lets go of this when they have worked so hard to stoke these very same things now that they're saying they should forget about.
Yeah, and Maya, just to remind folks, I'm going to show some of the times Trump made these type of vows last year.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
Well, look, we have a current sitting president who ran on conspiracy theories, appointed people who spent all their time creating and stoking conspiracy theories, including Kash Patel, including Bondi, including lying about the 2020 election. And now their conspiracy theories are coming home to roost. They're paying the price for lying to folks, for making claims. For Donald Trump, I think what we saw him doing there, we saw him do throughout the election cycle, which said, I will tell you what I think you want to hear.
I'm going to wrap it up here. That's it for me for now. All right? See you guys on the next one. And like I always say in closing, remember, question everything, because if you don't, you may fall for anything. Think and say. Have a good day.